Alright, so the best intro I could come up with for this video is basically a clip from Get Smart, so I'm going to let my boy Reginald take it away. And if you're wondering who Reginald is, it's the guy who uses the name Ferrari, in case anybody was wondering. Maybe you could have guessed that, maybe not, but his name in the movie isn't Reginald either. I just wanted to basically give him a name because in the credits list it's probably like Guy who says the words Ferrari, if that's what his actual character name was. But here, I want to give the guy a little more meaning, a little more purpose. So his name's going to be Reginald. I didn't really need to make that as long as I did. I'm sorry. Look, on to the review.
Господи, ты посмотри, Ferrari.
Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for Ferrari starring Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz, Shailene Woodley, Patrick Dempsey. Yeah, Patrick Dempsey, sexiest man of the year, look at him. And it was directed by Michael Mann, and our story, as plainly as I'm going to put it, is basically we are following the life story of Enzo Ferrari at a time where his company is basically in trouble of being bankrupt, and so he decides to, he decides to wager a lot of things, put a lot of things on the line in order for his company to thrive after a very treacherous race through Italy. And that is how Google puts it, because to me, if I was to give you a plot synopsis of what I watched in this film, it would have been the life of Enzo Ferrari, his very bitter and distraught wife, for a very good reason, very good reasons, and Shailene Woodley was there, and there's racing. That would have been my plot synopsis, so I'm sorry because it took me a second to say that. So my plot synopsis would have been, we're watching the life of Enzo Ferrari, his company's bankrupt, his bitter and distraught wife is here, and she's upset, majority of the movie, for good reasons. Shailene Woodley's here too, and there's racing. That's literally how I would describe to you this movie. It's not as interesting as Google made it sound right here, calling it a treacherous 1,000-mile race, because it never felt treacherous to me. The word treacherous means that you would have been watching some horrifying, terrifying, heart-pumping, heart-pulsing, crazy race scenes. They ain't in here. Those ain't in here. Those are not in this movie. I will say this. There are great shots in this film. And honestly, we're just going to the review at this point if you haven't guessed, because I was very disappointed in this movie. To be completely honest with you, this wasn't it for me. The more this movie sits with me, the more disappointed I just am, because I hold Adam Driver to these kind of standards, man. That boy, and for great reasons. That motherfucker can act. That boy is good. He's got a good resume. I mean, yeah, he's got some duds, you know, however people feel about the Star Wars movies, they ain't his fault. They did some dumb stuff with his character, but it's not his fault. Adam Driver's still doing Adam Driver things. He's been in some duds. He was in one of the worst movies of the year this year. One of mine, at least. 6'5". And if you watch it, you would probably think the same. It's a very, very boring movie. But I hold Adam Driver to some up here standards, and he has let me down this year twice. Now, that's not to say that Adam Driver did not do a very good job in this movie. I mean, he did a good job. I'll say that, because like I said, I hold him to these kind of standards, and honestly, he not only did he just not meet them, well, I was expecting going into this film some sort of like a nomination type of performance, one where where the movie can even not be that good, but you can still walk away saying he was the best part of the film. Adam Driver's not the best part of this film. It is Penelope Cruz. Penelope Cruz is hands down the best thing about this movie, and I mean that in the best ways possible. She is tremendous. She's treacherous. If there's anything treacherous about this film here, it's that woman. And she pulls off spitefulness and bitterness better than a lot of actresses could possibly have done this role. I think it's just her. I think Penelope Cruz is the only person that could have done this, because there was some crazy acting going on from her. I mean, tremendously just great emotion, and you feel her frustration, her pain. This woman did whatever she needed to do to draw all the attention onto her in her scenarios. And I'll say this, most of the good parts of the film for me were their interactions, Penelope Cruz and Adam Driver. And it really has nothing to do with the main part of the film. I mean, it is a sub-main part, if that can be a thing. It's like their relationship is very important to the movie, but it's not what the main point of the movie is. At least it's not supposed to be. Or at least, I don't know, maybe the way Michael Mann directed this, maybe it is. Maybe that is supposed to be the focal point. I personally thought it was the fact that he was losing his company and there's racing going on, but those scenes are so boring. But I'm going to make sure I stay on point before I get to that, because that's just what I didn't like about the movie. But look, Penelope Cruz, I loved. Penelope Cruz was fantastic. Adam Driver was good. I wanted great. Personally, I didn't get that from him, I don't think. If Adam Driver somehow gets nominated for this, I'm just going to say, oh, okay, we're just giving nominations out. But I've seen him do better. I know he can do better. And maybe Ferrari's just not a very interesting guy. But as well as he captured like the essence and charisma of Enzo Ferrari, which it's Adam Driver, he's going to do that and do it very well. Either Enzo Ferrari is a very boring person, or Michael Mann made this movie just an absolute snooze fest. And I don't find like pleasure in saying that. I wanted to like this movie. I wanted this movie to do what a few movies have done these past few weeks and just sneak into my top 10 and just have me just completely losing it over how I'm gonna put my list together. But this was an easy one. Ferrari is not even close to my top 10. It's not going to be on my worst movies of the year, but it did draw attention to another film that it just reminded me of that was just so suffocatingly boring, minus a few scenes, and that's Napoleon. But this movie just truly did not live up to I had high expectations for this movie, man, and it let me down. Like, talking about this movie now, like being able to just let it all out, because I just be thinking to myself. I mean, sometimes, I'll say my thoughts out loud, but truly letting it all out here, right here, right now, like I am truly very disappointed in what I saw. Now, the movie looked beautiful. Cinematography was great. Cinematography was very good. It was some beautiful shots in there. Like I said, Penelope Cruz was acting her ass off, and when Adam Driver matched that and their banter was going on, you were in some very emotional family scenes. And heartbreaking scenes because of just what they're going through. But as far as like this movie building any stakes or just making us feel like something important was going on the entire time, it's like this movie had once the racing was going on, I'm thinking to myself, well, I get he's losing his company, but I feel like I know that because of the trailer. I don't feel like that was highlighted in this movie at all. And maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I was definitely paying attention because it was getting so hard to, because the movie's so boring. Like, it's just and the entire time all I could think about was Ford v Ferrari and how that movie made the racing mean something. It's like this is it. It's this or nothing. And there is a character in this film, they call him like Deportado. I think that's his name. I want to make sure I get his name right, because he was the main driver for Adam Driver's company, for the Ferrari company. At least he was like the hotshot guy, you could say. Deportago, yeah. So Deportago, he was a good character. Like, there are a few good things in this film, but it just really let me down. Like, it's like the entire time all I could think about was how Ford v Ferrari made all this racing mean something to us, and how these characters with their different personalities and their different just elements of what they brought to the film, it all just came together to make this entire thing that we're watching mean something. And it's literally a about the same thing, if we're being completely honest. Like, it's, and I couldn't help it because, you know, Ferrari's in that title of the film, and I'm watching a movie called Ferrari, and I'm just thinking about how that movie did this so much better, and how we couldn't at least get some life from Adam Driver. I felt like I don't know if the movie is supposed to be set in this just slower. Maybe that's just how Italians are. They're more slower in their approach to motivation, or maybe they just don't give motivation at all. Maybe they just play everything cool, and if they lose it, they just, you know, cry for a few seconds and move on. I don't know how that works, but this movie here just bored the crap out of me. And to Shailene Woodley's just efforts, I'll say, like, she's not bad in the film, but Shailene Woodley is kind of just like there in a lot of her movies, man, and it's like she's there, but she's not really like making an impact. She's not really like grabbing my attention. That's always what her spiel has been to her. I mean, I'm sorry, my spiel has been towards her as an actress. She's kind of just like there. Like The Fault in Our Stars is beautiful. That was an immensely beautiful story, but I felt like that was a lot on Ansel Elgort's part, just being Ansel Elgort. And Shailene Woodley, she did a lot better in that film of being more of a screen presence. Like Divergent films, in the first one she was a screen presence, in the next and the other two, no, she's kind of just, she's the main character and she's kind of just there. Like she's obviously not Jennifer Lawrence, which is what the only, because Hunger Games and Divergent were so similar in some ways to me that I just completely compared these movies for whatsoever reason, and I'm like, yeah, this girl's not Jennifer Lawrence whatsoever. And and I'm so sorry, this is like completely not how I normally do my reviews. I know, but this has just become a rant at this point. But truly, I can't even do like a what I liked and what I didn't like about this film, because it's like what I liked is Penelope Cruz, but it's just there's the entirety of this film just disappointed me so much. I'm like, I might as well just go off if this could be qualified as going off, because I'm not, you know, yelling or anything. I wasn't that mad. I was just disappointed. I wasn't mad. It's one of those classic parent lines.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I don't even feel like spanking you right now. I don't even feel like giving you the attention you deserve. I'm just gonna talk to you in this mellow tone voice. It's just, that's what I'm pulling with this movie, because I expected so much better. So this is just kind of a rant. I'm gonna make sure I name this video a rant, but I just didn't enjoy this film as much as I wanted to. I was very disappointed. But like I said, Penelope Cruz, if she gets nominated somehow, some way, I would actually appreciate that, because she gave some damn good effort. Now, if she doesn't end up getting a nomination, regardless, she did a tremendous job. But for me to actually have to sit here and say Adam Driver honestly got backpacked, and that's probably a hot take, but look, I can see this movie being one of those films that release on whenever it comes out on streaming. For those who haven't seen it in the theaters, we're gonna go on Twitter, and people are gonna go on Twitter and go, yeah, they were too harsh on Ferrari, or it's getting good reviews, so I might be in the minority for this. But everybody's just gonna go, oh, it's beautiful cinematography, it's a great score, blah blah blah, and technical effects, yada yada yada. That's cool. This movie has all that, but let's not ignore the fact that this narrative and this film itself is fucking boring. This movie is so boring. I was bored out of my mind in this film until Penelope Cruz kept showing up. I was catching, and I wasn't even tired. I wasn't even tired going into this movie, and it's like I just kept catching myself like kind of like drifting off, because I'm like, wow, this is like, I don't feel anything. And then the racing's going on, and I'm just kind of just sitting there. This is the first time I've ever seen, like, yeah, out of all the racing movies I've seen, yeah, I can't necessarily say there's one where I'm just like 100% not interested in the race. Like, it's going on, and I see the beautiful camera shots, and the crash sequences are crazy. But if the best thing about the racing scenes I'm coming away with is the fact that I'm saying the crash sequences were crazy, it's not the best compliment about a racing film, if I could say that. I mean, your racing movie, which this is more than just a racing movie. Yes, this is a dramatic intake on a man who was hell-bent on winning and making his cars the fastest in the world. And it's also about, his thing going on with his wife and his son. But it's just, there could have been a more interesting way to tell this film where we could care about both sides going on. But I found myself only caring about Penelope Cruz, and the rest of this film was just, it was just there. Very beautiful to look at for sure. But it was kind of like a dry red wine. Yeah, that's how I would describe this movie. A dry red wine where it some sweet stuff in the middle, or there's some ingredients that'll get you drunk, but at the end of the day, this is dry, tasteless, but somehow it gets you drunk. Which, yeah, that's kind of how I felt. That's kind of how I felt in this movie. It's crazy though. But look, that's my rant on Ferrari. I'm so sorry that this is not normally how I follow my reviews, but I just felt like I had to just get that off my chest. I've honestly been keeping that in, because it's like I truly am just mind blown that I even feel this way about this movie. But like, I was in my right mind watching that film. I mean, I was pretty high, but go to the movies high all the time. Enjoy yourself, kick back, relax. But I was just there. I was just watching the movie, and I was like, yeah, this isn't what I wanted to be. I was so excited, and it just really let me down. So it's all right. Adam Driver, you will bounce back. Penelope Cruz, you are amazing. Michael Mann, look, you have a great resume regardless. Everybody has their misses, but this is just like Ridley Scott's Napoleon, a huge swing and a miss. And for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give Ferrari a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I know. I'm even being a little gracious with the rating there, because I don't think it was so bad that I should give it like a 2. I think a 2.5 is fair for me. I think that's pretty low just for a lot of people that's seen it. But yeah, for me, this movie just wasn't it. So look, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff and so much more. Look, Ferrari, have you seen it? What did you think about it? And if you liked it, I'm happy. I'm glad someone enjoyed it. Like I told one of my friends, he said he liked it. I'm glad. I am so happy you did. But this movie to me was a huge letdown. And I will not, if you want to explain your reasonings as to why you love the movie so much and why I may be wrong, I will sit there and listen. But do not think I will come back convinced that this movie was good. At least to me. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff and so much more. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.